So I'm a fan of horror, things that go bump in the night, and I have a fascination with the paranormal, whether it's cryptids or ghosts or monsters and what have you. And so today we're going to talk about a book called Theater of the Mind by Dave Schrader. And Dave Schrader has been in the paranormal world for many moons. He's been on the Holzer Files and Paranormal State and Ghosts of Devil's Perch. He's just been in the community for many years. There's 15 different stories. They are creepy, weird, and they might keep you up at night, freak you out just a little bit. There were a couple stories in this that were absolutely terrifying that, if they're true, are truly just bone chilling, and I don't even know. It's almost more scary than horror because these are supposedly, stories that have actually happened to people. Reality. The stories are about ghosts, UFOs, aliens, weird monsters, actual boogeymen in your closet. That story may have been the one that freaked me out the most. It's so scary, and I can't even imagine, like, if it's true, help. Help! Also, if you're a scaredy cat, don't read it at nighttime when you're alone. Or if you are home alone at night, I recommend skipping the story called Beware the Bloody Bones Man. Don't read that one at night. Read it a sunshiny day. Be outside your dog and friends. Yeah. Oh, also, with some of these stories, they actually happen to Dave, and then others are just stories he's come across along his journey through the years of being in the paranormal community, and just some of them are truly, oh, fascinating. There's one that involves him and his family where he get this phone call from his mom's sister. It's impossible because the sister had had a stroke and was in the hospital in a coma, and it has to do with something that happened. They get this phone call. The sister tells about an event that happened that hadn't happened yet, and then it happens the next day. I don't want to do super spoilers, so I'm not going to tell you what it was that happened, but it's a very historical event that affected a lot of people, and that story is just wild. You have stories about UFOs, ones that are underwater, people's experiences when they're out on boats and stuff that happened to them there. Like I said, there's an actual one with like a boogeyman in a closet, the Bloody Bones Man, and that story is so freaking scary. It's literally any horror movie you could think in that vein where there's something in your closet when you're a kid. That was that story, and it's supposed to be real, and that scared me more than anything else. Talking about it now, I don't like it. I don't like it. There was another one too about this kid that, it's a story called My Friend Seth. Seth was kind of a weird kid. His parents were super overprotective. They didn't really let him do a whole lot. No sports, no this, that, and the other. And this other kid, he was friends with him, but they didn't hang out after school. It was mainly like at school and whatnot. And he felt that this kid seemed a little off. And so one day it's his 13th birthday, and the family actually invites him over so that he can have dinner and watch TV with them. So he comes over, he's supposed to go home afterwards, and this crazy storm hits. The parents are kind of weird, and they're like, well, we'll still drive you home and this, that, and the other, but then it just gets so bad, and then they keep looking out the window and looking out the window. They don't want him to, but they let the kids stay the night. And him and his friend Seth make a fort, having fun. They go to sleep. In the middle of the night, kid wakes up. His friend Seth is not in the room. Like, what is happening? And he sees this like bright blue light kind of shining everywhere, and he's like, so he gets up and like crawls out of the fort that they were sleeping in. Stuff is all messed up, and so he like makes his way into the hallway, and he sees Seth's parents. Like, they're standing side by side, but they're like flickering in and out of existence, and he's like, where is Seth? And all of a sudden, he's in his room at home, miles away, and he's still in the pajamas that he borrowed from Seth. And he's like, what the heck? And then he goes downstairs, and his parents are like, parents are all dumb about it. They're like, "Oh, you must have walked home." But the kid, his pajamas weren't wet. If he had walked home, there was so much snow, it wasn't even possible. He looked outside, there was no footprints. And then to find out, he never hears from Seth again. The family moves away. The dad supposedly got a job somewhere else. He tries to find Seth later in life, never finds him again. And that story, it made me kind of sad because I was like, oh, that poor kid. So what was he? Was he like an alien hybrid? Did aliens take him? It was so freaking weird. And all the stories are like crazy like this, and they're so interesting, fascinating, and horrifying. I laugh. That's like my defense mechanism. I'm like horrifying because some of them are horrifying. There's a story also about, if you've ever heard of the Black Eyed Kids, and I hate talking about them because they freak me the F out. There's always like some weird situation when they start following people, or they try to like get them to come to these real bad areas that if you go near them, maybe you'll die. I don't know. That's just the vibe you get from these kids. They are not good. So there's one about that, which is super creepy. There's like another one about this guy who realizes he's being abducted, and it seems like the alien's getting mad because he won't like let go to let them abduct him, and just wild stories. This collection of stories, it's so good. It is weird and fascinating and just keeps your attention. The way that it's written, it flows really well. If you're a weirdo like me who likes to read weird stories and get a little bit freaked out about stuff that might possibly be true, that's up for you to decide. Again, Theater of the Mind, Tales from the Darkness by Dave Schrader. Definitely check it out. I'll have a link down below if you want to investigate more about this book and freak yourself out a little bit. It's good times. And if you're a fan of weird books, the next video coming up will be about that, so stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.